I came to believe that innovation is in our blood. We have been breaking barriers since 1947.
Go Atlas.
It's who we are.
Go GPS.
The multi-domain, multi-component, coalition-friendly command and control has moved forward because we've been the connective tissue for the joint team.
I just want to say to my team and to the greater Air Force, SpaceX, Lockheed team, let's go for launch. It's going to be a great ride. And this team here at the United States Air Force and at SMC really pulls it together, and they just deliver incredible capabilities.
They're the finest Air Force on the planet.
And the capabilities that this spacecraft brings for the guys and gals out in the field who are fighting the fight is unbelievable. Literally the thousands of people that it takes to get here.
It's my honor to be a part of this incredible team. We have to shape SMC into an organization that's focused on rapidly delivering space warfighting construct capabilities.
Space and Missile Systems Center's upcoming launch, STP-27RD, is a result of an innovative partnership between the DoD Space Test Program, the Defense Innovation Unit, and Rocket Lab USA. This mission is part of the Rapid Agile Launch Initiative, a program designed by the Space Test Program to drive accelerated space access for the Department of Defense. Our goal with this mission is to leverage the growing small launch industry to put satellites in orbit faster in a more cost-efficient manner. Rocket Lab's Electron rocket provides the perfect chance for the Space Test Program to work with this innovative launch company while delivering state-of-the-art DoD research and development satellites to space. The DoD Space Test Program helps accelerate game-changing new space technologies. This includes spacecraft and the launch vehicles that get them to orbit. Our launch with Rocket Lab will deliver 3 unique satellites to low Earth orbit that will advance space technology for the DoD. These satellites were developed by York Space Systems, the Air Force Research Laboratory, the U.S. Air Force Academy, and the United States Army's Space and Missile Defense Command. The Space and Missile Systems Center is moving faster than ever to deliver innovative new space technology to orbit and lower the barriers to access to space. We are thrilled about today's launch. This mission will put exciting, new technology demonstrations into orbit and at a fraction of the cost of previous DoD launches. This launch will pave the way for creative new capabilities that enable the U.S. Air Force and the Department of Defense to outpace any space threat.
The C-5 containing the 3rd SBIRS geosatellite touches down here at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida. The Atlas V rocket and mobile launch platform weigh over 2 million pounds. Traveling at a speed of 2 to 3 miles per hour, the rocket will take approximately 20 minutes to make its way a quarter mile to the launch pad.
I'm excited to be down here in Florida on a gorgeous day with SBIRS Flight 4 now on the pad. This satellite's launch will finish off the baseline constellation for the SBIRS mission. 4 GEO and 2 highly elliptical orbit satellites.
Go Atlas. Go Centaur. Go SBIRS.
The Atlas V rocket launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, carrying the 4th SBIRS geosatellite into orbit. Arriving from Marsh Air Reserve Base, the C-17 has landed here at Los Angeles International Airport.
It's not something you think about day to day, but in activities like this and at launch, you get a sense of affirmation of like what you're doing is definitely important, involving the warfighter, giving them the comms that they need to do their day-to-day mission.
The Delta IV rocket launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida.
And we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket carrying the WGS-9 mission for the United States Air Force.
And history is made. A Minotaur 4 rocket launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, carrying ORS-5 into orbit.
And liftoff of the AEHF-4 mission carried by United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket for the United States Air Force.
RD-180 should be throttling back up to 100% thrust.
Extremely important for not just our Air Force Space Command, but for the nation. You provide them an incredible advantage with the capabilities that you develop that have fundamentally revolutionized how we fight and win our wars today for our nation.
The SSOA mission was all about getting small sats on orbit. They've historically been relegated to the secondary payloads. We decided to fill a whole Falcon 9 with small sats, making it cost-effective and therefore enabling new technologies, taking an unprecedented number of first-time flyers up. We've got startups, ongoing businesses, space agencies, museums, universities, even a middle school aboard. Missions themselves vary from tech demonstrators to Earth observation, communications to biological experiments. Spacecraft come from 17 different countries, represent the work of thousands of people. A mission this size with 64 spacecraft takes years of planning and draws on our deep expertise in launch. Our engineers designed 2 rings, the upper and lower free flyers, that will separate and deploy their spacecraft in a series of orchestrated maneuvers. Because we have launched over 140 satellites to date, we have experience with nearly every different SEP system and dispenser and are always ready with custom solutions to deployment problems. Our engineers and mission managers were fully up to the challenge of a dedicated mission. Assembling the integrated stack was like putting together a giant, complex puzzle. It was a master effort in project planning, ingenuity, and perseverance that took place in our new state-of-the-art integration facility in Auburn, Washington. Our team also worked with our customers to navigate all the regulatory, licensing, and insurance challenges that come with putting a spacecraft on orbit. Particularly for our first-time flyers, making sure that everything is running smoothly is part of the turnkey service our mission managers provide. Finally, I'd like to say this would not have been possible without SpaceX and the incredible capabilities of the Falcon 9. We all envision a world where small sats are really making a difference. All kinds of applications, Earth observation, new lunar missions, space manufacturing, stuff we can't even dream about. We really want to say how grateful we are to Planet for being the primary on this mission, for SpaceX for enabling it to happen, and for all of our customers that are sharing this ride with us.
That back igniter purge has started. Stage 1 LOX load has closed out. Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Falcon 9 is in startup. Stage 2 is pressing for flight.
It's launch trajectory on countdown 1. We are go for launch.
Gas closeouts are complete. Stage 1 pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off of the Falcon 9.
Trajectory nominal.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower and is now headed upward on its mission to sun-synchronous low Earth orbit. Coming up, the rocket will throttle down for max Q, which
reached maximum aerodynamic pressure,
which represents the maximum aerodynamic stress on the rocket. We're now headed into a series of events that will occur in rapid succession. That's MECO, stage separation, and SES-1, or second engine start 1. MECO is the shutdown of all 9 first stage engines in preparation for stage separation, where stage 2 separates from stage 1, and SES-1 is the ignition of the second stage engine.
MVAC chill has begun.
Following SES-1, we will turn our attention back to the returning first stage, which will relight 3 of its engines in a boost back burn to head back towards the drone ship. And then finally, we'll see fairing deployment at T plus 2 minutes and 43 seconds. As mentioned earlier in this webcast, we're attempting to recover the payload fairing, and while we will not have a live video feed of this attempt, we'll share updates as they become available. So in about 20 seconds, you'll hear the call out from MECO. Let's listen in.
We have MECO.
And as you just saw, we had a successful main engine cutoff, stage separation, as well as ignition of that second stage engine. And there goes that fairing. And there you can see all 64 of those satellites on stage 2 headed to sun-synchronous orbit. You will hear the call out for the boost back burn ending in a couple of seconds. That's where stage 1's burn, that brings it back in the direction of the drone ship. That burn will cease.
Stage 2 trajectory nominal.
And we are hearing that the stage 2 trajectory is nominal and performing as desired. You can see those beautiful grid fins popping up on the left side on stage 1 as it makes its way back down to the drone ship. MVAC-D's power is nominal. That burn is looking very good. Stage 2, MVAC-D engine continues to look good. Temperatures and chamber pressures remain nominal. And we have beautiful views of the Earth from both stages.
So just a quick recap in case if you have just joined us. We just had a beautiful liftoff from Vandenberg Air Force Base, our West Coast launch site in California, followed by amazing footage of stage separation, main engine cutoff first, then stage S separation. And we see the second engine there ignited and carrying our payloads into the proper orbit. Now on the left side of your screen there, you see our first stage, which is coming back down to planet Earth as we're hoping to land it on our drone ship this morning. So coming up in just a few seconds, we'll be initiating the re-entry burn. This is designed to slow the rocket down as it re-enters Earth's atmosphere. Then just a couple minutes later, we'll perform the final burn, also known as the landing burn, and that will decelerate the vehicle to a gentle landing atop of our drone ship. So there's the visual confirmation of that re-entry burn. This will last for another 10 seconds. Okay, so now that re-entry burn has ended, we have less than a minute until that third and final landing burn will happen, followed by
Stage 1
touchdown.
FPS has saved.
Now, as we approach our first stage landing, I'd like to point out that we might lose video coverage out there on our drone ship. There's lots of vibrations as the rocket is coming down towards it, so we might lose our satellite signal. If this is the case, we'll be sure to provide you status updates on that first stage as they become available. We're certainly excited to hear about it here in Hawthorne and across all of SpaceX, as this is the first time that we are trying to land this for a third time. So there we can see that final landing burn happening. We'll be looking for deployment of the landing legs here momentarily. Falcon 9 has touched down for the third time. So as you saw in that shot, Falcon 9 landed on our drone ship. Just read the instructions, which is currently out in the Pacific Ocean.
That's so great. And the second stage is still continuing on with the primary mission, though. We are 8 minutes and 32 seconds into flight, and the second stage is still burning nominally. It's on a really good trajectory. Power is looking good, chamber pressures are good, and we're looking at 200,000 pounds of thrust in the vacuum of space with that engine. So the second engine cutoff, or SECO, that's where we're going to stop burning this engine, because ideally Falcon 9 will be in its intended deployment orbit. That's coming up in about 50 seconds.
So as we mentioned earlier, we won't be able to show the deployments of the satellites today because this will be happening, that will be taking place over areas where we don't have ground station coverage. So unfortunately, we won't have any live video feed to provide. Because deployment won't be viewable, we will end our live webcast soon after the second engine cutoff, but please continue to follow along on SpaceX Twitter updates for payload deployment as they become available.
All right, we should be expecting SECO, and there it is. Let's listen in for whether or not the orbit's good. And we have confirmation that stage 2 has reached a good orbit. This is the deployment orbit, and the next step over the course of the next 40 minutes or so is to separate the payloads from the second stage of Falcon 9.
And we are so excited to be launching these payloads today. Thank you to the Space Test Program and DIU, and to all the other teams behind today's mission. Now, as you heard, this mission is called STP-27RD. However, here at Rocket Lab, we also like to give each Electron rocket its own name. We like to get creative with these names, and we've dubbed this one, That's a Funny Looking Cactus. The name came about because the Space Test Program is based in New Mexico, and if you've been there before, you know there's a lot of cacti around. We pictured what it would be like to see Electron in that setting, and what do you know? It's a funny looking cactus.
SRC on mission cord, range is green, auto sequence armed.
Copy.
If you've been following Rocket Lab's activities, you might have seen we recently announced the evolution of the kick stage to Photon, our in-house designed and built small satellite platform or spacecraft bus. As the global leader in small satellite launch, Rocket Lab has made dedicated, frequent, and reliable access to space a reality for small satellites. With Photon, we've taken our mission services even further. Rocket Lab is now an integrated spacecraft build and a launch service. So rather than building their own hardware, small satellite operators can simply come to us with their payload and idea, and we'll take care of building the satellite and also launching it. This means our customers can get to orbit faster and start generating revenue quickly by providing real space capability in just a few short months, rather than the traditional years it takes to get to orbit. Photon is an advanced and planned evolution of the kick stage. It operates a high-powered iteration of the flight-proven 3D-printed Curie propulsion system. It can support missions in low Earth orbit with up to a 5-year lifespan. The first Photon customers are launching early next year, and we're thrilled to be streamlining access to space for them. We're approaching T-minus 3 minutes, so let's leave it with Mission Control to follow the remainder of the countdown.
And Flo, this is flight on mission call. Please disable power package vac and confirm. To all operator, vehicle is ready. VMS is flight on mission call.
Go ahead.
You are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes.
Auto sequence is locked.
Avionics, this is flight on mission call.
Flight avionics.
Please confirm all AV bats have been switched to internal power.
Confirm vehicles on internal power.
RCO, flight on mission call.
This RCO, go ahead.
Confirm ground power has been disabled on all 3 stages.
All stage powers down.
And to all operators, vehicle is on internal power.
Pressing locks.
PLS, flight on mission call.
Go ahead.
Please disable anti-geysering and confirm.
Pressing Kiro.
Confirmed disabled.
Stage 1, confirm stage 1 is pressed.
Stage 1 pressed.
Stage 2, confirm stage 2 is pressed.
Stage 2 is pressed.
AV battery checks. High flow engine purge active. Commanding deluge on. Delhi John.
Readying GNC systems. Rereading engines.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
First motion.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
As you just saw, we've had successful liftoff of Rocket Lab's STP-27RD mission on That's a Funny Looking Cactus. The next major milestone we're coming up to is Max Q, or Maximum Aerodynamic Pressure.
Guidance is nominal.
This is where the forces on the vehicle are at their greatest during flight. So let's listen in.
Coming up on Max Q. Max Q.
And there you have it. Electron has passed through Max Q, or Maximum Aerodynamic Pressure.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Coming up
Hey,
soon,
listen,
Electron
Jesse.
will go through a series of key mission milestones in relatively quick succession. Starting with main engine cutoff, or MECO, the 9 Rutherford engines on Electron's first stage will shut down in
30
preparation
seconds
for
remaining.
Stage 2 separation. Following this separation, we'll see ignition of the vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage.
Speed is 2 kilometers per second. Entering burnout detect mode. 5 seconds remaining.
Stage 1 MECO.
Stage separation succeeded.
Stage 2 engine started.
As you can see, we have had MECO, or main engine cutoff. Electron's first and second stages have separated from each other, and the vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage will continue onto orbit. Very soon, we will see the fairing jettison and fall away from the vehicle. The fairing protects the payloads during ascent, but it isn't needed once we ascend to the thinner parts of the atmosphere.
Fairing separate.
And there it goes. Electron's fairing has been jettisoned to make way for payload deployment approximately 50 minutes from now. With the fairing gone, Electron continues towards orbit. Everything is looking great so far.
Guidance remains nominal.
This is Mission Control Auckland. Electron is performing as expected, and we're continuing on a nominal trajectory. Go Electron!
Stage 2 propulsion is nominal.
If you're just joining us, we've had successful launch of the STP-27RD mission aboard Electron. We've had stage separation, and Electron is continuing onto orbit. Mission Control Auckland checking in with you live during Electron's launch of the STP-27RD mission. As you can see, Stage 2 is continuing on its journey to orbit. Our next major milestone will be the battery hot swap. If you've watched our previous launches, you'll be familiar with this process, but if you're just joining us for the first time, here's what happens. Electron's Rutherford engines use electric pumps powered by lithium polymer batteries, but once these batteries are depleted, they're just dead weight. To overcome this, we perform a hot swap where we switch over power from the depleted batteries to a fully charged one, providing a more efficient ride to orbit. So look out for the battery jettison shortly.
Vehicles to the safe gate.
AFTS is safe.
HV battery hot swap. HV battery eject.
Stage 2 propulsion nominal.
As you can see, we've had successful hot swap and jettison of the depleted batteries. Stage 2 propulsion is nominal and our trajectory is looking good.
Seconds remaining. Speed is 5.5 kilometers per second. Altitude is 198 kilometers.
Just a bit of a recap for the launch of the STP-27RD mission on Electron. We've had successful ignition, Stage 1 burn, and stage separation, and we're now following Stage 2 as it continues onto orbit, transporting 3 satellites for the Space Test Program.
Detect mode.
This burn will continue until around T plus 9 minutes, and then our kick stage will separate. So we've got about 1 minute left before Stage 2 engine shutdown.
Thirty seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining.
Engine shut down.
Transfer orbit looks good.
Confirm stage 3 separation.
And with that call, we can confirm that the kick stage has separated from Electron's second stage. As we mentioned earlier, we won't be receiving video of today's payload's deployment, so we've prepared a short video illustrating this process. approximately T plus 54 minutes, the 3 satellites on today's mission will be deployed to precise, predefined orbits in quick succession. So stay tuned to our social media channels for confirmation of this payload deployment. So with that, we're going to end today's webcast. A huge thanks to the U.S. Air Force, their space test program, and our mission partners for choosing to launch on Electron. Thank you also to the FAA and the New Zealand Space Agency for licensing this launch. The entire Rocket Lab team would like to thank you for joining us for our 6th Electron launch, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. This is Rocket Lab Mission Control signing off.
Since its earliest days, the Center, once known as the Western Development Division, has found innovative ways of fielding critical systems for national security space. The SMC mission began in 1954 in a converted schoolhouse in Inglewood, California, with a priority call to create the nation's first operational ICBM, the Atlas Intercontinental Ballistic Missile.
The attainment of an operational intercontinental ballistic missile is a vital concern to the national security. In June of 1954, this mission was established by the Chief of Staff in a priority directive to the Commander, ARDC. The Atlas, now called Weapon System 107A, was given the highest program priority in the Air Force.
SMC went on to tackle complicated military satellite programs and the design and launch of numerous small, medium, and large launch vehicles. Ever since those first successful military launches of the 1950s, SMC demonstrated a key role contributing to America's technological advantage.
It's a great feeling, just knowing that something I've worked so hard on and the whole team's worked hard on, it's going to come together in a great launch.
And liftoff!
For over 50 years, the Space and Missile Systems Center and its predecessor organizations have delivered the operational space systems when our nation called. The Space and Missile Systems Center will continue on the leading edge of space acquisition. SMC, building the future of military space today.